what can I say? It's the music that I grew up listening to. And even here I sing this music.
Machanic Manyeruke is Zimbabwe's gospel music legend. His music has nourished Zimbabwean Christians across denominations for generations now.
It brought me home. I felt like I'm in Zimbabwe right now.
My father died on the 27th of August 1957. I was still very young. Yeah, so I thought maybe it's the end of my life.
How does your father go to work? Yes.
My education really, it was so sad because it was very little amount of money. Of course, my brothers were all working, but they could not do it for me. But I kept on saying, no, I don't have to blame anyone because maybe God has something to do and He's got something for me.
I learned that the biblical stories his songs often tell frequently come from his own life experience, like two on the Old Testament character Joseph.
I'm going back to Joseph again when he was sold by his brothers in Egypt. So he said, do you still remember me, my brothers? Joseph, your younger brother, you sold. It was a shame for those guys to find the brother is now a king.
Without support for his schooling, Machanic had to go to the city of Harare to find work as a gardener, and like many young men in the city, faced familiar challenges.
When I was coming from another township called Tafara in Harare, I was a bit drunk anyway. I thought maybe to keep my mind settled, I better drink, but it was my first time to drink beer anyway. And I met somebody with the Salvation Army uniform, and he said, where are you coming from, my young man? You are like maybe drunk somehow. How can you do this, a young man like you? I said, well, please pray for me. I want to know where you go for church services here in Borodale. So the man told me that under that tree, there was a tree nearby. If you come there on Sunday, you will find us there.
Machanic found a home in this Salvation Army fellowship where he developed his music and began writing songs and performing locally.
So one day I was just, working in the kitchen. I was a waiter. The phone came and somebody said, I'm calling from UK. I said, from UK? Do I know anybody over there? It was on a Wednesday. And he said, you must, if your company allows you to leave Harare on Sunday evening, we want to welcome you at the Heathrow Airport for 2 shows in London, 1 in Scotland. And from there, we will work with you if all goes good. I said, my God.
Another lesson Manyeruke's life holds, I learned, has to do with the sources of his gospel music. Music that has helped shape the faith of millions of Zimbabwean Christians.
Even my brothers, they were amazed about my singing. They said, well, our father, of course, used to be a singer, but to some African style of music. He was a dancer too, to the African type of music. So really, maybe we took it from there, I don't know.
Machanic seemed a little embarrassed to admit that his music drew from his father's skills as an award-winning performer of traditional Zimbabwean music and dance.
My father had a beautiful voice of singing his songs of his maybe call it ancestors, I'm not sure really.
But wherever the Christian faith has moved among different peoples, I had learned, it always involves drawing on and converting existing forms of life, art, and culture to Christ, like Christmas or the organ for Europeans.
They want me to jive.
And I was interested to learn that the dance steps Machanic breaks into that move his Zimbabwean Christian audience to feel God's Holy Spirit among them are indeed drawn from the traditional Mande dance practiced by his father. This project began, as you can see, with a little filming here in the United States. But to tell Manyeruke's story, we have to film him in his home in Zimbabwe, with family, friends, and neighbors. For example, as he walks the paths of the village he grew up in, or as he helps youth in his urban township of Chitungwiza clean the streets and provide other services their government no longer provides. We need to film him performing at special events and recording new songs with his talented team of musicians and singers, as he now does at home in Chitungwiza. And we need to hear about him in personal interviews from family, friends, and colleagues. And in all his comings and goings, we need to see him as the agent of reconciliation he is among his people, in a country bitterly divided by often deadly political conflicts.
Because we want to bring people together. Political affiliation aside, we put all those things aside and work together as a family of that country. So really, I want to try and teach even the political members know that they must bring people together. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I find you well. I would like to appeal to all of you watching me on this video to help in the making of my documentary. This documentary is being done by Dr. James Holt. Now I would like to request those able to help financially to please contact Dr. James Holt at the number and address showing on the screen to donate any amount towards this project. I thank you in advance for your generosity.
In addition to the moving stories and profound lessons his life holds, this film will help make his beautiful music known throughout the world for generations to come.